I want to start out today's vlog on a little bit of a more solemn note. Absolute massive supercell just came through here right over the top of my house. About 15 miles north of me, it dropped a tornado, a pretty big tornado down in Appleton, just south of Appleton in Menasha, Wisconsin. Tornadoes are not uncommon in Wisconsin, but it's not exactly like Tornado Alley. Absolutely crazy day. Power was in and out. Thankfully, we have backup generators. Spent a little bit of time in the basement. Fortunately, I was working, so I was already in the basement. But, my heart goes out to the people who's had their homes, their livelihoods, their lives destroyed by this tornado here in Wisconsin. And obviously, as a storm cell travels further south through Illinois, Michigan, Louisville, Kentucky, and things like that, I'm hoping it doesn't drop any more tornadoes. Severe weather is a thing. It's fun when you're safe, and then once it gets not safe, it's suddenly not as fun anymore. And I'm going to share a little bit of footage from the aftermath and the actual tornado right now for you to get an idea of just how crazy bad it was.
US 10 eastbound, 441 near Menasha, a cluster of crashes. I don't like to read that, and that's from Wisconsin DOT, and that makes my heart sink, because there were people on those highways that saw this coming and panicked, and I don't blame them.
Look out your right! Debris! There it is! Tornado! Look at it go! Debris coming down! It's right there! It's right next to us! Big tornado! Oh, Lord Jesus Christ. It's right there.
Look at that car.
He's okay. He just got checked on. You check on him.
I think the police officer just did. There's massive debris flying in the road. Look at that. Reed, look at the car. Oh my God, that's really bad. I hope they're okay. Oh my God.
Hey, are you okay? You need a ride?
Yeah, I'm good.
You're a storm chaser, I see. Yeah, you got radar. Yeah.
Whoa, look at that. Those cars wrapped in the metal. I hope they're okay.
Here where I'm at, we lost a couple trees. We always do when we get high winds, because there's a lot of swampland on my property, and there's some big trees, but the roots don't go deep, they go wide. And it looks like we lost a few more. I'm gonna have to go around the trail. I see one big one down in the back corner of the property. I'll have to cut that up. And if I do have to cut it up, I'll film that for you guys and get rid of that, drag it with the truck or the tractor or something like that. But yeah, severe weather is crazy. Stay safe out there, folks. At least in Wisconsin, we have basements. I know for me, it was crazy. I never knew people didn't have basements because I live in Wisconsin, and everyone has basements here. But this is the time of year when things get pretty spooky, and it was a crazy day, crazy way to start out the vlog. All right, time for a little diet workout update. I've been doing keto for about a week. I don't technically know if I'm in ketosis yet. I ordered some sort of test. Oh, by the way, your German Shepherd content of the week. Mr. Huckapapa. Are you a GB Huck? A good boy? Well, any hoozle. So now, I guess I'll do the blood test later today. Hopefully next week's vlog I'll know. But early results have been encouraging. I'm down 7 pounds already, but you know, when you're starting with such a high number, it's not like, you know, that exciting. You know, 1 to 2 pounds a week, that's my goal. And I kind of know that's probably all water weight. Keto's been pretty okay to stick with. I went to the EAA, I went to a bachelor party, I went to a couple other places, and I managed to stay on program. And so now today I'm working in some weight training, and a friend of mine helped me out with like a very simple beginner plan. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people with feedback, but basically I've got this adjustable bench here, and I've got these weights here to work with. I also have the heavy bag, and I've got an Olympic bar that goes in that section down there, and you can push it up. Also got some red light therapy to try and help with the muscles, but I don't know. We'll see. I guess I'll keep you updated on that. So my current plan is on Mondays is a dumbbell bench press, 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Then seated dumbbell shoulder presses, 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Flat dumbbell chest fly, 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. Then seated dumbbell lateral raises, and then laying dumbbell tricep extensions all on Monday. Then back at it on Wednesday on the pull day with dumbbell rows, a reverse fly incline bench, dumbbell pullovers, seated dumbbell bicep curls, and seated dumbbell hammer curls. Now, I literally had to Google every single one of these exercises because I know how to do a bench press, but I don't know really any of these other things. But I also know that, you know, form is important, and if you don't have the right form, then you can do damage, you can do more harm than good. So I'm getting set up today, and I'm printing out an individual sheet for each workout that shows me how to do it. So I'll be starting on Wednesday. Then Friday is full body and arms with incline dumbbell bench press, chest supported dumbbell rows, seated Arnold press. I wonder if that's for Arnold Schwarzenegger, I don't know. Bicep curls, and then crunches. Good. I got, you know, the list. I just hang it on the wall, and because I want to supercharge the weight loss, you know, like, sure, I'm relatively confident if I just stick to keto that the weight will fall off. And, you know, my goal is to lose 50 pounds by the end of the year, and 75 by my birthday in April, and then 100 by the end of next year. Obviously, that would be extremely, extremely aggressive. I mean, if I fall short and I'm at 75 pounds at the end of next year, that's great. Then the year after that, I can get to the 100. But I do have a lot of stuff in here that I can utilize once I lose some more weight and once my knee's recovered. Right now, I'm still on limited duty with my knee, but I've got a Bowflex, you know, I don't know. We used to have a tread climber. This is just whatever their raisable treadmill is. So once I'm off, you know, light duty with the knee, then I'll work in some cardio, probably 30 minutes of cardio before each workout at least, or at least do cardio on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then hitting the heavy bag, I have still from when I was training for that boxing match that I won undisputedly. My boxing career is 1-0, undefeated. I retired at the top. But I also have this rowing machine that my wife uses. I don't think I'll be able to use that until I lose some weight. That thing looks not quite giant sized, but that's where I'm at. I'm down 7 pounds in a week. Hopefully next week when I give you a little bit of an update, it's 9 or 10. This weekend was hard with all the places I had to be. I stayed kind of still below where I needed to be, but not as clean as I am during the week. So I'm going to try to just have a really clean week this week. I've got no plans. So lots of swimming, lots of physical activity, and hopefully we'll get to that 10 pounds lost by next week. And side effects so far of keto, a lot of people talked about the hot snakes, the bubble guts, the explosive rhea. I haven't really had that. I think maybe once last night I had kind of some stomach problems. Electrolytes, I feel like I still can't get enough of those because every morning, the only big annoying side effect has been that every morning when I wake up, my whole body's really sore. I feel like I've been cramming enough electrolytes. Like I put 2 scoops of this Relight electrolyte stuff in every 24 ounces I drink. And I'm drinking 160 ounces of water almost every single day. But I tend to taper off on the electrolytes at night. So I'll try to go like triple on my last 2 bottles of water, and maybe that will help. It just feels like I had a hard workout or I was very physically active the previous day when I wake up in the morning, even though I haven't been. Starting tomorrow, we'll be adding the weights to it, and maybe some what are those kettlebell stuff? I have kettlebells. I could do those. But I'm trying to ease into it. I wanted to get at least 1 week, maybe 2 weeks in clean, just sticking to keto before I add another thing. So maybe I'll start this Wednesday with weightlifting and then wait till next week to start doing some cardio. But yeah, I'm hoping the general soreness goes away. I read online that this is a side effect because your muscles are losing all the sugar in them, and it could be a rehydration issue. So that's what I'm going to do. By the way, we never changed. This is what happens when you live through the coof. You have lots of paper towel, toilet paper, and cleaning supplies. I think we'll always have a lot of that just because I remember when it was almost impossible to get. Oh, I can't close this all the way because my wife has one of those pull-up bars in the doorway. I'm not sure if she uses that or not, but yeah, so good progress in the first week. I'm really, really hoping that this Friday when I weigh in again, I see continued dropping in the scale, and I'm hoping by the end of this week or next week some of the soreness will go away. But that's where that's going, and so I'm going to get my workouts printed out right now and get ready to start doing that, to try and just really, really go as hard as I can. So that's the fat update. All right, so another question from the comments. By the way, if you want me to cover stuff in the vlogs, I read the comments and I'm happy to add things to them. So a typical day for me, just preparing stories, we're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to talk a little bit about preparing for streams with Melonie specifically, because that was a question from the comments. Really preparing for the stream or preparing for that day's standalone topics, that starts the minute the previous day's topics end. So I'm constantly on X. I use the bookmark feature a lot, bookmarking potential stories for the next day. I'm constantly checking the main sites, Daily Mail, New York Post, Breitbart, Daily Wire, and then just my Google News feed. I have a specific news feed set up, Google Alert set up. And basically what happens is usually, my day ends at like 4 or 5 o'clock. Then I immediately start bookmarking topics for the next day. And if I think, hey, this is a good topic, I'll bookmark it. Then around 8 or 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'll try to lock in my opening 3 videos for the next day, because both my editor and my thumbnail guy are in the UK, not for any weird reason, but just happens to be that way. So they're 6 hours ahead of me. And I also, so then what I do is I try to give them a list of, hey, here's what I think I'm covering tomorrow. Here's all the links so you can do thumbnails, stuff for editing. And then I wake up the next morning and I'll bring up everything on my computer, do another search for anything breaking news, or I'll look to see, okay, did Tim cover this already? Did Benny cover this already? Did Mark Dice cover this already? If they did, I will generally skip a topic because it will underperform. Unless it's really, really big news, then I will cover it. But if it's kind of a niche story, I just skip it. And it sucks because sometimes I have the thumbnail done already. And sometimes I've already recorded the video. And then if Tim releases it at 11 a.m., I'm not going to release the same video at 1 p.m. because it'll bomb. For the live stream, it's a little different. So here's what I'm looking at most days. So on the left, I have my recording software. On the right, I usually have a browser open with all the tabs for the story, and then I separate them by like an empty browser as I go through them. When I'm getting topics for Melonie, I also use the same methodology. I bookmark stories throughout the week, and we're only live 2 days a week. So I keep a different browser on a different window where I will keep stories that I think, oh, hey, this is going to be a good story for Melonie. For example, they have this like OF chick who's LARPing as a conservative commentator. I'm like, that's a good one to get Melonie's take on. Or a school board where they forced pronouns. That's a good Melonie story. So I always will denote if it's a good Melonie story, if it's a video game story, if it's a pop culture story. When I bookmark stuff, I put it on the side. Then I always try to find some videos that will make her laugh and that we can have fun with. For example, today's live stream, you'll see her react live to this individual who's fruited his looms and is running around. I just know that's going to be funny. A liberal rage crash out. I know that's going to be funny. A dumb, confused driver of the culture. So I try to find topics that I know, like, okay, for my VODs, for my regular story on the quartering, that's where that goes. Then if it's like a hard news story, if it's about like Mom Donnie or Trump or something like that, I generally also will bookmark that and denote that for my Jeremy Hambley channel. So I have two main channels that I have to feed at least 3 to 4 videos a day. So each day I normally record 7 to 8 videos. And then if I live stream, we'll do 3 to 4 segments, which go over on our live stream channel Quartering Live, which is on all platforms too. So on any given day, I'm doing maybe 10 to 12 videos. I know it's not a ton of editing. I used to do all the intros and all that kind of stuff, but I found out that doesn't actually really increase viewership. And unless the intro is a real banger, they are generally seen as kind of a nuisance and people just tune them out. And so I stopped doing those. But basically, I start getting topics from the night before into the day of. And if topics are light, I'll go ask, for example, Melonie, hey, can you look up some topics for today's show? I don't have a lot. Or if I have it covered, then I try not to tell her what's on the show so that her reaction is real and authentic. And I try in general not to watch videos too. Like I'll see what the video's kind of about, but I generally won't watch the whole thing because I want my reaction to be authentic too. Essentially, long story short, preparing topics for a show that airs, 10 episodes a day, 5 days a week is a full job in and of itself. Recording them is much easier. I have to amp up my energy level for when I'm live or when I'm recording. But other than that, the hard part is actually data mining all the topics. That takes the longest. That takes 4 to 5 hours a day of intermittent check-ins and bookmarking and sorting. I keep like a notepad document of all that kind of stuff. Then once I record a VOD or a standalone video, I upload it to OneDrive where I will title it with the titles I want to A/B test, and then Steven, my editor, will then cut out stuff I need him to cut out, clean it up, upload it, optimize it for YouTube, and schedule the release. So it's really a well-oiled machine, basically between 3 people, keep this whole shop running. And we're basically all working on coffee now too. So Ben is currently redesigning all of my coffee packaging so that we can be on the shelves at Walmart and Target. They have different requirements than Amazon does or purely online sales. So like I'm talking to him about that. I'm talking to my printer for the bags about that during the day. And then really as things break, my editor or my thumbnail guy will send stuff in Signal too. And if it's good enough, I think if it's for a topic, then we'll do it. So it's basically this always moving machine that never ever ends. And it can be extremely stressful. I hit burnout about 2 months ago and I have not come out of it. And I think I need a little bit of a vacation, but right now is not the best time for my family. And you don't really want to go on vacation in Wisconsin during the summer. So I just keep grinding and try to up my relaxation stuff. So I've been playing more poker and I've been doing more stuff around the house, cleaning and stuff like that, just to kind of keep my mind clear. But that's kind of, the day starts at about 7 a.m. in the morning, and it ends right around 11 or 12 midnight. Because the last thing I do before I go to bed is check stories. The first thing I do when I wake up is check stories again. Okay, the part you're probably all waiting for. This will be a little bit shorter. Today's been pretty crazy. I've been dealing with nonsense, but I have a commitment to you guys to do these vlogs, so I'm gonna get this done. Most YouTubers behind the scenes are total scumbag snakes. The list of people I've worked with in the past 10 years who are actually loyal, actually your friend, is probably about 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000. And you find this out when you go through some petty drama. You see which ones are willing to sell you out for $50 in AdSense revenue. And sure, I could name a bunch of names. Maybe one day I will. But I think it's more important to highlight the rare good ones, the ones that actually stay loyal. I feel like I have always been loyal to the people, to my friends on X I've taken, or on YouTube or other video platforms. I've taken a lot of heat for people, refuse to disavow them. And the way I handle my friendships apparently is very different than other people who pretend to be your friend, when it means that you'll share their videos or you'll go on their show. Maybe they have a live stream that's just starting up and you take the time to go on it and promote it, help them get super chats. And then the first second they can make a few bucks slandering your name and pretending that you're the worst person on the planet. That's what they do. But there's been a few rare cases of people that have kind of stuck by, and I think it's pretty easy now that I've gone through all this stupid internet drama. It was a very clarifying, very open moment for me, a very revealing moment that, quite frankly, I feel blessed to have gone through. When half of the world was unwilling to message me directly, Hucky, get out of there. Oh, that's Ruby. German Shepherd content. Papas. Where's Aniban? Aniban. Hey, Bean. Aniban, Bon. Come here. You guys never see Onyx. Onyx, come here. And she goes the other way. She thinks I'm going to throw her in the pool. I did it one time 2 years ago to see, to show her she would like swimming, and I guess she didn't like swimming. But through all the nonsense, all these people that called themselves my friends, some of these people I had been, in my opinion, friends with for over 10 years. Talked to, knew their families, celebrated the birth of their kids. And for the most part, the first chance they could get to make a buck off me in a time when it was popular to do so, that's exactly what they did. And, hey, Baba, Hucky, don't knock that over. But, Ruby. But, you could just say nothing, too. during times of tumultuous stuff, which is what a few people did. And but there's been one person, and Medicare, internet aristocrat Jim. I remember this; it stuck with me never more clearly than the last 6 months. He used to mock the idea of internet friends and how it was stupid, and he's totally right. He's totally right. Now, I'm not talking about my viewers, but I'm talking about other content creators who are all snakes. I could do a 2-hour video and lay out just how much of a piece of garbage just about everybody I've worked with is. But I haven't done that, and I won't do that. That's not who I am. Believe me, it's hard sometimes when I see some of the stuff they say or they do or the videos they make. But there's been kind of one person that I really, really thank God that I came across. And it showed me that it isn't impossible to be friends with some of these people. And that is Melonie Mac. A true ride or die friend, which is hard to find in real life, and like winning the lottery online. This is someone that refused to pile on at a time when just about everybody else who called themselves my friends were piling on. But more importantly, she opened my heart to Christ. She got me to go back to church. And that's been a really, really good thing in my life. And she's also inspired me to, coached me, encouraged me to stop being so fat. And it's not like I don't have the entire internet telling me I'm fat. But when it comes from somebody who, has like your back, right? It matters more. It means a little bit more. Hey, Hockey. And, when it would have been convenient for her to turn on me, make a few bucks on internet drama, she did the exact opposite. She reached out directly, got the full story from me, understood the facts of everything. And then she did what I never would have expected, and that is like made a video and said, hey, you know what, get effed, basically. And I know she took a lot of heat from that. I mean, these psychopaths who are so anti-life ruination have spent the last 6 months trying to ruin my life, trying to destroy my coffee company, trying to flag down my channels, even though they're against flagging. You have, failed NASCAR drivers turning this into a whole career, really tiptoeing on the line of going a little bit too far. Yeah, I had people that I've collaborated with, people I've traveled with, people I've met at conventions. And when all that stuff happened, Melonie never for a second even thought about abandoning me and believing the nonsense that was going on out there. And she stood by me steadfast. Now, I had stuck by her in the past too, because that's the type of friend I am. When you're my friend or you're even a coworker, I don't let the internet tell me, anything. Ow, fire ant. That hurt. The internet doesn't control what I say. I get a lot of, when I brought Melonie on as a co-host, there's a lot of people who were talking a lot of junk in the chat, and I just don't participate in that. I don't allow it. I don't accept it. When I had Luke on the show, Luke's been a true friend too. But, people talk ish about him in the chat. I don't participate in that. I don't say, oh, look at this, look at that. Because I guess maybe that's just being Midwestern, but maybe that's also just being a good human. And at a time when it would have been really good for her career to jump on the hate train, she chose instead to follow her faith, which is really inspiring to me. And that's what made me go back to church. And now I don't think I've missed church, and I think I missed once since last September. And I try to pray every night, and I try to be godly. I've sponsored 6 kids through my church, and all because I've been compelled to reignite my relationship with God. And I truly believe it's through her influence that led to that. and this new keto thing that I'm doing, you know, losing weight. She's been right there. She wrote a workout plan for me. That's what a real friend does. And it's not like I was looking to be friends with any of these internet people, but I thought people would exercise some common decency, but it turns out they don't. The second they can make a buck on your name or your misfortune or lies being spread about you, that's what they do. And they act self-righteous when they do it. I've seen all their private group chats and, former coworkers of mine's private group chats, taking salaries from me while also bad-mouthing me and starting their own side businesses behind my back with my money. I've just been burned so badly by internet friends that I don't think I'll ever open myself up to that ever again. Now, Melonie was the peanut in the turd that was fellow content creators. But, I've stood by a lot of people that the first chance they got to turn on me, they did. And that was really eye-opening. And now I'm focusing on getting healthier, losing weight, growing my coffee company, which will be in Walmart soon, or available at Walmart, at least on their website at first, and then I have to get UPCs printed on the boxes. I've just been focusing on that. And life's been a lot more simple. Life's been a lot more simple, but I owe a lot to her friendship, and I'm so happy that she's in the place that she is in her life now and thriving and happy, and it's just good. So there are good people out there. But they're really, really hard to find. And that's probably true in life. So, I'm not going to tell Melonie I made this video. She'll probably never see it. But I am so thankful for her friendship, her solid, unwavering friendship. Because that's what friends are supposed to be. If friends have problems with each other, they talk about it privately. They don't put them on blast on the internet to make $45 in AdSense. But apparently, these people were never my friends. And I won't say that hurt my feelings, but it did make me feel betrayed. One of them in particular was pretty egregious. But that's okay. Life goes on. Spend less time pretending these people want to be your friend, and spend more time at church, more time doing good things. And I think long term, it's going to be a real benefit. So sorry to get kind of serious in this one, but good people are hard to find, so you should protect them. And you should protect your friends. And if you aren't willing to do that, then they're probably not your friend. And if they're not willing to do that for you, they're not your friend either. This whole internet cult of personality is all nonsense. These people aren't friends with each other. They're all snakes. I've been to these conventions where they all talk ish about each other behind their backs and then pretend they're best friends when they can go on each other's show and further their careers. That was never me. That was never my life. That's not who I am. I don't pretend to like people I don't like. Now, granted, there's about 4 people in the content creator world that I can't even bother standing these days, because a lot of people really revealed their hypocrisy. Really, really revealed a demonic side of them that I just never saw until the last 6 months. It was eye-opening, but I'm so glad that I found Melonie as a friend and as someone who is pushing me to be better. That's what friends are supposed to be. So, shout out Melonie. Everyone else sucks.